everybody. How are you doing? Good evening, good afternoon from anywhere you're watching in the world. If you can see me and hear me, my name is Oluwaseun Akinloto. I'm the founder of On Point Success. On Point Success is a branding and digital marketing company based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So I would like to know where you are watching from. I welcome you all to the Power Woman series. If you can see me and hear me, just leave me your name and your location. Let me know where you're watching from, and then we're going to get started. I have a very beautiful guest for you today, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things from joblessness to how to handle rejection to how to land your dream job and living your purpose. So be sure to share this video with other people so that we can all enjoy the video and share things together. All right, so I'm waiting for you all. If you can see me and hear me, please leave me your name and your location as you're joining me this evening. Be sure to share this video, share this live video. Let's see. I'm trying to share as well, so please give me 1 second. Can you see me or hear me? Welcome everyone. Good evening. Good afternoon. Can you let me know where you're watching from? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Pastor Vera. Thank you for joining me. Welcome, Tolulokwe, North Carolina. Wow, Adetutu from Ibadan. Welcome, my namesake, Tolulokwe Oluwole from Lagos, Nigeria. Can you please all share this video? Can you share this live session so that we can have other people join us and benefit from this session? Thank you everyone for joining me. My name is Seun Akinloto and I am logged in from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm the founder of On Point Success. On Point Success is a branding and digital marketing company based in Philadelphia. Hi everyone, thank you I see you all, thank you. Please share with other people so that we can get started. Oh yes, you can see me and hear me loud and clear. That's exciting. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you everyone. Welcome to the Power Woman series. And I hope everyone that is watching me right now, I hope that you've registered for the Power Woman experience that is coming up Saturday, August 22nd, 2020. Guess what? Power Woman experience is free for every woman, if you're a professional woman, if you're a career woman, a business woman, Power Woman experience is for you. We have an amazing lineup of speakers that are ready to share their stories. This is not a conference that people will just stand up behind the podium to talk. This is a very interactive session that we're planning to, put out for you. The speakers will be telling their stories, so you really want to be a part of it. And we'll put the link to register in the comment box right now so that if you have not registered, you really want to get on board and register, tell your friends about it, and then we can get started. I see you. Thank you all for joining. I am going to be introducing our guest very soon. All right. Very, very soon. Can we all share this video, please? So let's see. I am going to introduce our guest very soon. So tonight we have Oluwatosin Arodidu, and I would read our short bio before we bring her on board. Oluwatosin Arodidu is a lawyer, human resource specialist, identity coach, CEO, and founder of Ada Creations, a branding and publishing business. She attended Igbenedion University, where she obtained a bachelor's degree in law, Cardiff Metropolitan University for a master's degree in business administration, and she also has a master's degree in international dispute resolution with a focus on arbitration, negotiation, and mediation. Yes. She has written 4 books, four books, with her latest book titled Identity. This is a powerful book. I actually have read the book, and I recommend this identity book to every woman, not even only women, to everyone that is looking to, know what their identity is and to walk in their purpose. You need this book in your life. Olajumoke is passionate about helping people, especially finding themselves amidst so much confusion and uncertainty. So she's also the identity coach. So join me in welcoming Oluwatosin Olajumoke Arodudu to the show. Thank you. Hi, sis.
Nice
Good
to be
evening.
here. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, sis. Good evening.
Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on board.
Thank
It's a
you
pleasure
for
to have you. How are you doing?
Thank
And
you.
how is the weather over there? Is it
Fine.
cold, hot? It's fine?
Yeah. Ireland is kind of funny, but today it's extremely hot. So I don't know. Normally, Ireland is usually cold during summer. We don't have the normal summer season, but today is very, very hot. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
we're going to get started. Our viewers are waiting, and they can't wait
Okay.
to hear from you.
Okay.
So we're going to dive right in. Can you hear me clearly? Can everyone hear me
Yeah.
clearly? If you can hear me clearly,
Yes.
just say I can hear you. Can you hear me clearly? Okay. So I know that I read a little, short bio, but I would still love if you can introduce yourself to our audience so they know who you are, what you do, what you stand for, the things that you value. So just let us into your life a little bit.
Little bit. Okay. My name is Oluwatosin Olajumoke Arodudu. I'm the creative director of our creations, a publishing, design, and brand development company. I am also an identity coach with
Yes.
I love to help. Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes,
clearly,
I can hear.
Mama?
It's breaking a little bit, but I can hear
Okay,
you.
little bit. Okay. I'm an identity coach and I love to help people walk in their authenticity because this means a lot to me because for a very long period in my life I didn't find who I was on time, and
Mm,
this affected a whole lot of things about me. So
mm,
when I began to work in self-discovery, and I saw the
okay.
importance of knowing yourself and knowing who you are and how it's going to impact on your overall life, I
Hmm.
developed this passion to help people find themselves and to walk in their authenticity. So you can call me the
Authenticity.
identity coach, aside being a
Authenticity.
creative director at Other Creation. And
Mm-hmm.
I have peculiar interest in human resources. I love to consult for organizations in order to bring,
Okay.
I try to introduce empathy management. Yes, empathy
Okay.
management into organizations. I also have a full career, which I might not um, disclose fully, but I have a full career by the side. So you can describe
Okay.
me as a full business woman and a full career woman. So
Nice.
that's it.
Nice. I like that. I like that. I'm also an environmentalist, so that's fine. You're doing
Oh,
so
beautiful.
great. And and thank you for that
Thank you.
introduction. Thank you so much for that
Thank you
introduction.
very much.
It was a pleasure meeting you. So you talked about not knowing your identity affected you. So that's a thought that
Mm,
I want to hold for now. I'll come back to it. But
okay.
I just wanted you to
Okay.
let us into your childhood. How was your childhood like?
Okay.
Did you grow up in a traditional home made up of, mom, dad, siblings? How was that like? And in what city did you grow up? And, just tell
Okay.
us a little bit about your childhood.
Little bit about my childhood. Okay. My childhood, I did not grow up in a traditional home per se. My
Okay.
parents separated when I was 2 years old, so I don't
Oh,
really have a memory of when they were together. So you can say that I was raised by a single mom. However, my
okay.
dad was involved in my education. He
Okay.
was involved fully in my education, but I was raised the values I have today, what I stand for, the full makeup of Oluwatosin Olajumoke Arodudu was molded by a woman, and that's my mom. So you can say that I
Your
was
mom
raised by a single mother,
by a
yes, and
single
I have a
mom.
brother. Yeah, yeah. So we are two, myself and my elder brother, raised by our mom.
Okay.
So
Raised by your
that's what
mom.
it was like. Yes, raised by
Yeah.
my mom. And
Mm-hmm.
growing up was kind of tumultuous, this kind of turbulence, having to move from mom to see dad to get, what you need, having to move from dad to mom, having to face some of this strife that happens between a husband and a wife when they are no longer together. So that was the kind of
Yes.
yes, that was the kind of situation that surrounded my growing up. And I remember that when I started writing, my second book was titled From the Perspective of the Child. I wanted to give a
Mm,
voice. Yes, I wanted to give a voice and a clear explanation to what children from dysfunctional homes actually have to
mm,
deal with. It's not
mm.
usually about parents alone. It is about
Yeah.
the children they have to face, how it shapes up their mentality, how it shapes up their human makeup, how it affects a lot of things about them. That was what propelled me to write that book from the perspective of the child. So there's a
From the
lot about my
perspective of
childhood
the
in that.
child.
The child is available on Amazon. There's a lot about my childhood in that book. And after writing that book, I realized that I needed to pour out a lot of things that I had sucked in my childhood
Mm,
before I see clearly. Because those things were acting like a mind blockage and they kept coming up and they kept, overshadowing a lot of things that I could do. I wasn't receiving enough clarity because of all those
mm.
things that grown up and they had clogged up my mind. So writing from the
Okay.
perspective of the child was a way of pouring out and a way of helping children that are caught up in dysfunctional families. So that
Wow.
was what it was like growing up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful. So I just have a quick follow-up question to that. Did you
Okay.
have a relationship with your dad when you were growing up? Did you feel like you loved him, or you were resentful
Yeah.
towards him?
Yeah. Well, I loved my dad because he embodied a lot of things that I that I wanted. I really wanted to grow up in a home with him, and but having to go and see him from time to time created a kind of resentment. Women
Yes.
and the children, they always like to be closer to their dad, but I
Yes.
didn't have that
That's
opportunity, and so that kind of created a kind of resentment and a kind of didn't allow me to enjoy him as my dad, and because a lot of turbulence surrounded the whole thing, so there was this
mm,
kind of distance that didn't allow me to properly connect to who he
with him.
was. But thank God, yes, there was a reunion last year, and a lot of things. We thank God for everything.
Thank
So
God. Thank God.
that was what.
I'm so happy for
Yeah.
you. So, still on the matter of
Thank
your
you.
childhood, I know that I don't know which secondary school you attended, but I know that you were the head girl of your secondary school. And I got to know that from a Facebook post that you had made, and you had talked
Okay.
about, the selection process and how you weren't expecting it. So, what secondary school did you go to? And what did you learn from that selection process? I know that I read a post on Facebook about it,
Oh,
but
okay.
I would like
Okay.
you to shed more light, because I believe that it's from those little things that happened to us in the past. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
things that define us and helps us to provide a glimpse into what the future looks like, or what the future would
Right.
look like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the selection process was unexpected. I never knew that my teachers and my classmates saw leadership skills in me. Okay, sorry. The
Okay.
school I attended was a St. Francis Academy. It's in
Okay.
Akure in Ondo State, Nigeria. That was
Okay.
the secondary school I attended. It's a private school, and it's kind of close knitted. So it was kind of shocking for me to find out that I was nominated as one of the contestants for the senior prefect girl, because I had my eyes on other people. When they announced it, my eyes was actually focused on other girls that I felt that they were better than me. I didn't have
Mm,
enough self-worth, and I didn't have an idea that my teachers and my classmates actually saw me as fit for that position. So when they called my name
mm,
and said Oluwatoke Fadipe, that was my maiden name, and that you are going to be contesting for the position of the senior prefect girl with this
okay.
other lady, I was shocked. So I'd already
Okay.
concluded in my mind like nobody was going to vote for me. So when I went for the ballots, I voted for the other lady because I felt
What?
like I wasn't going to even. Yes, that was what I did because
So
because I
you
didn't.
don't even give yourself a chance.
I did not even give myself a chance because I didn't. I never expected that maybe some of my mates were going to vote for me. I didn't.
Oh, wow.
I didn't. I wasn't. No clue at all. I felt that we were going to vote for the other lady because I felt that she embodied the leadership skills that was needed to be a senior prefect girl. So I voted for her, and when the ballot was counted, the result was 12-13. So I was supposed to have
Okay.
14 votes, while she had 12 votes. But my vote
If you
was the
had voted
13th.
for yourself.
Exactly. My vote was the 13th vote that gave her the 12 votes that she had. So that kind of passed the message to me like, wow, so these people actually believe that I can be the senior prefect girl. But I don't embody the characteristics of someone that can actually be the senior. I felt that there was a way that a senior prefect girl had to be. And I felt that I
Mm.
was not in that particular way. I wasn't that particular person. So I felt that I was not worthy of that position.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, this particular incident happened and I moved past it because I was quite young then and I didn't learn the appropriate lesson. I think the old senior
Mm,
prefect thing was just like a ace. I just moved past it, I did it, and I graduated. There was still this covering over my mind. I didn't know who I
mm.
really was, despite being the senior prefect girl. But this particular event came like a wave onto my mind sometimes in 2018. I didn't know what happened, but I knew that I was praying at this time and I was standing in the kitchen and that event just rushed all over me. And
Okay.
after I remember that event, then I started hearing identity. That was the
Identity.
connection. Yes, I started hearing identity. I wrote it down. I wrote identity down. Then I started having this wave of revelation. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you're made
Mhm.
of. You don't know the kind of person you are created to be. So I thought it was going to
Mhm.
be an article. I thought that was going to be an
Okay.
article and I was going to talk about
Yeah.
that event. So I took up my pen and my laptop and I started typing that article. But all of a sudden, I was transported back to my childhood and I started
Mm.
writing about being trapped. I started writing about self worth. I started writing about, in 2 weeks, I'd written a book just because I had a
Wow.
flashback of an event of that senior
That
prefect
happened
episode.
decades
Yes,
ago.
yes. So
Oh,
let me
wow.
stop there. So I don't.
I know. But it's interesting because a lot of us, a lot of humans, I'm not even going to limit this to gender. A lot of humans lack self-confidence. And I personally
Mm,
believe that self-confidence, self-worth, self-esteem begins from the home. Because
mm,
if you have your parents validating you and they are telling you
mm,
that you can do it, you
mm.
will definitely grow up with that mindset. I remember, like, when
Mindset.
I was growing up, each time my mom bought like an outfit for us and you're
Mm,
trying to complain, my mom will tell you that's the best in the market. And do you know that each time I wear that outfit, I feel like I'm wearing the best, even though it might not have been the best, but the way
mm,
that my mom would present it, or my dad is always full of praises, and he would tell you you can do it. Like my dad would back up his words with action. So
mm,
if you needed to
mm,
study for an exam, my dad was the type of dad, or is the type of dad that will stay up all night and study with
mm,
you, will go through past questions with you. So I think that maybe a lot of parents might not have been so involved in their children's life, but I think that self-confidence is something that starts from childhood. And if our
mhm,
parents didn't do it well enough, the onus
mm,
lies on us right now, even as parents that are grooming children to start, imbibing this self-confidence thing
Confidence.
into them, starts from the home, So
Yeah.
it's interesting that,
Okay. Can I chip in something?
yes, please.
Yeah, yeah. My mom was this kind of person that had this strong personality, and
Okay.
she didn't like when she was a positive person, always
Mhm.
pumping words and all that. But there are some children that they are extremely introverted in nature, and
Yes.
you can only help. There's a length to which you can help them until
Hmm.
they actually break out from that blockage. So I think that
Yes.
was the kind of situation that I had. Because to be fair,
Yeah.
my mom was always positive, always saying that you can do this, you can. She was always putting us in places that could expose us to leadership and all that. But I think that it had a
Hmm.
lot to do with the kind of situation I was exposed to, and the kind of nature that I had. So I had to discover and find myself before I could begin to exhibit the resources that were deposited in me.
In you. Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
So we're going to come back to how the unblocking thing started. So right
started.
now, I know that you are a lawyer, or you had your bachelor's degree in law, and I personally believe that law is a coveted profession. So I'm just wondering, why did you choose not to practice law?
Okay, as an art student, if your strength lies in the art class while in secondary school, the natural
Uh-huh.
thing was for you to go and study law, because everybody
Law.
felt that English was not that not that the kind
Tush.
of mentality we had then, that it's not that special, and you don't want to associate yourself with English. The next thing that
Hmm.
could make you stand out among your friends is law. So
Hmm.
naturally, it wasn't something I was interested in, but because of the
Hmm.
society and the culture of
Society.
success, yes, the culture of success. I actually wrote about culture of success in identity. So the next
Oh,
thing I felt
wow.
that was to study law. So it wasn't
Hmm.
passionate about law per se. I wasn't passionate about it at all. But that was the next
Okay.
best thing that I could do
That you
as
could
an art
do,
student.
to satisfy
Exactly.
the society. Wow.
Exactly, to satisfy the
Wow.
society. So that's why I
I
studied
think
law.
we all went through that, especially like if you're Nigerian, it's either
Exactly.
you're a doctor, an engineer,
Lawyer, engineer.
lawyer, all that,
Mhm.
pharmacist. Wow. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that was why I studied law. As a matter of fact, along the line, I got to like family law, and I got to like conflict resolution. That was why I did the second master's in conflict resolution. But while I was in the university, I had no passion for law at all. I was just passing through, so it was the phase, and I was just going like, let's just move along as it comes. Like that was what it was all about while I was studying law. So I wasn't passionate
So
about it.
like right now, I am raising my kids, and I tell them that they have the freedom to choose whatever they want. I'm not going to pressure my kids because I know what that can do to you psychologically, and I think
Exactly.
that this new generation, we are raising kids. We should be mindful of that fact when
Exactly.
that time comes that our children are trying to get into college and university, not to
Mm-hmm.
push our own dream on them. Let them
Let
have their own
them.
dream, and let them
Exactly.
choose what they really want to
Exactly.
be. All
Yes.
right. So I know you are an immigrant. You left Nigeria, and you probably went through some countries, but I'm still going to get to that. But before you
Okay.
left Nigeria, you had a short stint working at the bank. And I know that one of your dreams was to rise through the ranks and become an executive within a few years, but you lost that job. Can you please tell us what happened and how that happened?
How that happened. Okay. When it was a deliberate plan to get into the banking industry. So when I got posted to Shenik Bank, I had my future mapped out. Like maybe in 5 6 years, I was going to be a banking executive. I could virtually picture myself sitting at the executive table and being this bank manager, and rising through the ranks and commanding things as a bank executive. That was what I pictured for my future. And when I got into Oceanic, I was so blessed that I was among the corpers that were picked for a particular project. That project was tagged KYC. That's Know Your Customer. We're about
Okay.
were we up to 20 all over Nigeria that were selected for that project, and we
Okay.
did it. And and I was among the A-list performers. Like I was putting, this is what I want to do, and I want to impress my bosses. I want to be selected to be posted into a very solid branch after the service. So I was putting on my efforts, and I was being moved from branch to branch to update customers' accounts, and I was enjoying what I was doing. I had my life figured out, and life was beautiful. As a couple back then, we were earning 40,000 when our mates were
Okay.
earning maybe 8,000. Aside the allowance, we're earning 40,000 from Oceanic. So life was very beautiful. And after service, when all the couples were dismissed from Oceanic, my set was retained, and we were so happy, like, oh, we've gotten our dream job, though we were still on probation. But after 3 months, this tsunami, they call it tsunami, it struck the banking industry
Oh,
and people
wow.
were sacked. We prayed
Wow.
like maybe they were going to retain us, but unfortunately, because we were still on probation, we were also laid off. So I was back to square one without a plan B. It was as if the rug was pulled out from under my feet, and I had no plan B. I had no direction. I had no other plans aside the banking job. So it was as if I was back to square one. So at that point, I started planning for my master's, but looking at the financial condition at that time, I just felt okay, it's not going to be possible. So I waved it aside and I started searching for a job. I remember that I got this insurance job, and after a month, there was no fulfillment because it was based on commission. And you know how
Yeah.
Nigerians react to insurance. I remember back then, if you go to shops to market fire insurance to them, they're going to tell you in Jesus' name, fire will not burn my. So those things will just affect you. They're going to treat you like trash. Like in Jesus' name, what do you mean by fire insurance? Please go. So it was so terrible. And that thing affected my mind. Like, what kind of life is this? No, I'm not cut out for this. So I left the job and I went into baking. I remember I started baking at that time, and I was making cakes and supplying to shops. Then it got to a
Okay.
time, yeah, I was supplying to shops. I just wanted to keep myself busy. I'm a
Busy.
very restless soul. So I
Yeah.
just have to find something to do. So I was supplying these cakes, but there was no fulfillment. At the same time, I was searching for jobs. Then along the line, I remember that sometimes in 2011, my husband came into my life. That we connected and we started talking. And so the kind of things it was telling me, it was about my personal development. In my life,
Hmm.
I have never met a man like that was telling me about my future, telling me about my vision, telling me about who I was. It was opening me up to all sorts of things that I'd never imagined. So at that
Yeah.
point, he told me that now that you have not gotten a job in Nigeria, why don't you try for your master's? So I told him like, oh, my mom is not going to be able to afford the fees right now, and I
Mhm.
can't even, I can't even imagine disturbing my dad for he has, he's done his part, sent me to a Canadian university, and I can't afford to disturb him to come and send me for a master's abroad. It was like just have faith, just put in for the application. So it was my husband that
Mhm.
even did most of my application. Then we got this opportunity in MBA, and as God would have it, the money was my school fees was able to be gathered, my mom and everything, and that was I found myself in London,
Mhm.
uh, Cardiff, University of Cardiff Institute, where I went for my MBA. So,
MBA.
yes, MBA, Business Administration, Masters in Business
Administration.
Administration. What I didn't plan for because it was so funny because I have, as much as I love English, that's how much I hate anything that has to do with mathematics and accounting. But because
Yeah.
but because of the way I got into that masters, I knew that a lot of people were counting on me, and I cannot afford to fail. So, okay, I hope I'm not going too far. Maybe I should allow you to ask the next question.
Um,
So I
well,
don't.
that's fine. I'm going to go on to the next question. So, if you are just
Okay,
joining us, this is the Power Woman series, and today I have with me Oluwatosin Olajumoke Arodudu. She's a lawyer, she is human resource specialist, finance administration specialist, and she's also the creative director of Ada Creations, a branding and publishing company based in Ireland, United Kingdom. If you have not shared this video, please do share and invite your friends because we still have more goodies to share with you. Oluwatosin, so you share that you've put out a lot of applications when you left Nigeria. I think in Germany, you lived in Germany, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
you were looking for a job just because you wanted to support your family. How was that process like? Because I'm asking about this because I know that a lot of people think it's easy to get a job, once you just go abroad, all your problems are solved. But
No.
can you please tell us some of the challenges that you faced when you had to apply to jobs repeatedly and you were repeatedly rejected?
Yeah, it was it was an extremely difficult period for me. I remembered when I got to Germany, I was elated and I felt like, okay, I was going to get a job as quick as possible. But on getting to Germany, one of the things that I found out was that first and foremost, you have to learn the language, basic
Ooh,
German, basic German
German
rather.
language.
Dutch.
Ooh.
Yes, you have to learn, even if it's basic, you have to learn it
Can
before you
you
can
speak now?
just basic anyway. It's basic. I can speak
Okay.
basic, yeah, basic German. So you have to learn basic German. Even if you're going to get an English speaking job, you must still be able to
Mhm.
speak basic German. It's extremely important. So, and when I discovered this, I was still applying for jobs, but I had to go and study. I had to enroll in a German school to study
Okay.
basic German. So that was the plan. And I had lived in Germany for 8 months with my husband before I enrolled for the German language. And 2 weeks into the German school, I had been at home for 8 months. I was not pregnant. But 2 weeks into the German school, I found out that I was pregnant. So that kind of, that was the first thing that stabilized me. Like I wasn't even able to concentrate. I wasn't able to enjoy the whole process. But I kept pushing and everything.
Mhm.
I finished the 6 months German course. I had a baby at this point, and the way it works in Germany is if you just have a baby and you've not been gainfully employed before you have your baby, then you can't work. You have to stay with the child maybe for like 3 years before you are able to
Three
work.
years?
Or let's just say 8 months. If you're lucky enough and you get a job after the baby is 8 months, then you can go back to work. But if
Okay.
you don't get a job, you're going to stay with that child for 3 years. But at that point, I didn't give up. I kept applying. And when our son was, I think when he was 8 months, I was just, I was putting out applications upon applications and I was getting rejections upon rejections. And there was this particular job I remembered. What's this company? Can I remember this company? I can't remember clearly. But there was this particular English job. I passed the interview and I had been moved
Okay.
to the next stage. So I was elated and I was waiting like, oh, I'm going to get a job
Get
at
this
last.
job.
I'm going to be able to support my husband. I'm going to be able to like, my own self-worth for my own self-esteem. And that's, I was so
Mhm.
looking for the opportunity, only for me to receive a call that particular day. And I was told that I was dropped from the whole process. That kind of
Oh wow.
shattered my world. That thing shattered my world. I became extremely depressed. I
Oh
cried and
wow.
cried, and my husband, he started, encouraging me and telling me that I can't afford to break down. I have to be strong. But I lost it.
Hmm.
And the second day when he went to work, I laid our son was sleeping in the room, and I remember that I laid down on the rug and I was asking God, God, what is your plan for me? Am I going to be a liability? You know that when I started my life after my university and I started serving, I had envisaged and envisioned a future where I saw a career woman. So what is happening? Am I going to be a full-time housewife? Is this how it's going to be? I was questioning God this particular day and I was crying and I hardly cry. Crying is not something I do. I might be crying in my heart and things, but for the tears to flow like that, then something really, really has broken inside me. So as those tears were flowing that day, then I heard a soft whisper, start blogging. Start
Okay.
blogging. I know
Start
that
blogging.
voice. Start blogging. I know that
Did you
voice. When
have
I hear that
experience
voice,
with blogging?
I have no prior experience with blogging. I had built a website prior to that time anyway, because when I wanted to start doing this ready to wear, that's another story. When I wanted to start doing this ready to wear branding, I wanted to start a ready to wear brand with a friend, and I built this
Okay.
website, Ada Creations. That was the first Ada Creations website I built in 2014. I had no proud knowledge
Okay.
anyway. It was with the help of the Holy Spirit that I also did that. So when I start blogging, I was like, oh no, everybody's blogging, then I'm going to look like a copycat. And what I hate most in my life is to be seen as a copycat. But that mentality has changed anyway. Where I was back
Exactly.
then,
Because God
yes,
gives
has
people
changed.
ideas.
Exactly. So, but back then, because of this mind blockage and this kind of mentality, I felt like, oh, I was going to be a copycat. But that voice was superior to whatever feelings I had. So I stood up immediately and I went online. I
Mm-hmm.
googled, then I found myself on WordPress, and that was how my writing journey began. So let me allow you
Started.
ask. That was like
Wow. 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 And that was how you started blogging without any prior experience.
no
Wow.
experience. So I remember that I prayed that God, I
Uh-huh.
don't know anything about WordPress. You have to see. I was confused this particularly when I wanted to build the WordPress blog, and I told my husband, see what I had, and I said, go ahead. I said, I can't build a WordPress. Should we get a website designer or something? It was like, pray about it. God will lead you. And I remember that I prayed. And when I went back to the site, I just started doing
You got
things
some
and everything was
clarity.
falling into place. You know, the Holy Spirit was just directing me, do this, do that. Before I knew it, I built a blog. And that was how the
Wow.
whole journey. Yes, that was how the
Began. Wow. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. So even
thank
in
God.
your pain, you were still able to birth something. So we're going to take a short break now and we'll be
Okay,
back shortly.
okay.
Stay tuned, everyone. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because I still have more questions for her. Short break, please. Hello, welcome back from that short break. If you are just joining us, my name is Shion Akinloton and I am the host of the Power Woman series. On the hot seat today is Oluwatosin Arojuju. She is a lawyer by profession and she's also the founder of Others Creations, a branding and publishing company based in Ireland, United Kingdom. And she just told us before we had a short break about how she started blogging. So she was in the job market applying for jobs. She got frustrated and then she decided to start blogging. Now, Oluwatosin, you
Yeah.
mentioned that you created your first website when you were trying to start like a fashion brand with a friend and you had named it Ada Creations. What does Ada Creation mean? Like, I just want to, what does
No,
Ada mean?
Ada is an Hebrew word that means glory. Glory.
Glory.
Yes,
Hallelujah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I remember back then
Okay.
when we finished my MBA. I have this friend, very good friend of mine, Bimbola Kolako. We
Okay.
did we met in the United Kingdom during our MBA. So we had planned that after the MBA, we're going to create a ready to wear brand, and that we're going
Okay.
to connect with people in Bangladesh and Pakistan to create a ready to wear brand for us. So we had written a business plan. She actually got that name Ada Creations, and I bought into it, and we registered. I registered the company, and you know, however, along the line, she lost her dad, so that dream was not able to be fulfilled. So we had to
Commercialized.
but
Okay.
when I got into Germany, because of I was restless. In that 8 months, the first 8 months I spent in Germany, I was extremely restless. So I decided that okay, if we cannot make the ready-to-wear brand, let me just start selling clothes. So I would go to the
Okay.
shop, the malls, buy kiddies' clothing, buy for female and male, then package everything, take these unprofessional pictures, and upload it on
Back
the
in the
other.
days.
Yeah, I'll upload it on the other creations website, then send those clothes to Nigeria. But along the
Okay.
line, the profit, I wasn't making enough profit, and there was a lot of
Mhm.
creditors. So that was how that I left it and just abandoned it before I now came back to other creations in 2018. However, other creations had existed. The first time it existed was in 2014, and we were actually
Wow.
online selling
So,
clothes.
so other creations is just 2 years or maybe a little over 2 years. That's amazing. It doesn't feel like
Mm,
that. It feels like, it's been around
yeah,
longer than that. All
yeah,
right. So
yeah.
now you started blogging and you were showing up. So what are some of the challenges of blogging? Because I know that some of our viewers might, be thinking of starting a blog. Maybe we have people that are watching right now that might be thinking of starting a blog. So, what advice would you give to such people?
Yeah, if you want to start a blog, you must have built a kind of following, as in that's very
Okay,
important. And that following is what will drive traffic to your blog.
okay.
But if you have
I,
not
I,
built this okay,
I need
I'm
to,
listening.
I just wanted to share one thought. So, you said you must have built a following, which is really key because a lot of people even ask me, oh, if I want to start a show or I want to do this, I want to do that. So, what do you really mean by building a following? What does
Yeah,
someone need to start building a following?
you must be very you must comment on people's posts on social media. You have to connect
Mhm.
with people. You have to belong to some groups that envision your values, and you must make comments there, relate with people. Don't just isolate yourself and expect people to support you. Those were part of the things I faced when I
Mm.
started as a
Don't
blogger.
isolate
Because
yourself and
don't
expect people to
isolate
support
yourself
you.
and expect people to support. They won't support you because a lot of things are all over the social media that will take their attention away from you. And those are some of the challenges I
Wow.
faced when I started blogging because of my introverted nature. I just
Mm.
connected with just few people, so it was kind of frustrating that I wasn't getting the kind of traffic that
Traction.
I wanted on my. Yeah, but what made me consistent was because writing was part of who I was, so I could
Okay.
afford to keep pushing despite not having the kind of traffic that I wanted
Traction.
when I started blogging. But my advice for anyone, because I've been there, who does not want to get frustrated with blogging is that please make sure you have built a kind of following, you have interacted with people, you support people, you comment on people's posts, you share your ideas, you make people understand the kind of person that you are, and you
Okay.
connect with people in general. That's very important. When people see you and you show up, it is very easy for them to connect with whatever it is you are bringing out,
That
whatever
you're
brand you are.
doing.
Exactly. It's very easy for them to connect with
Okay.
you.
So,
Yeah.
what if you are not a commenting type of person? Like, you don't like commenting because you don't like to hear your voice or hear your opinion. How do you overcome that?
Then start with the reaction button. Because there are some people that react
Okay.
on my post. They have never commented on my post before. But when I see their reaction, I'm always happy. There's this kind of joy, like, oh, that's my friend. They're not my friend actually, but because I know that they always react to my post, I have this kind of connection towards them. And when I see whatever it is they put on their timeline, even if it's a product, I would react to it as a way of paying it
Okay.
forward. So just try to react,
Paying it
then try
forward. Okay.
yeah, we must always pay it forward. If people comment on your post, try to comment on their post. If people react to your post, try to react to their post also. Then, by the
Okay.
time you keep connecting with people online, it will get to a time you would have the courage to begin to write your comments. I think it
Mm.
happens as we relate with people. I didn't
As
also
we
start
relate to people.
exactly. You grow into it. I never knew that I had writing in me, but it was because I started relating with people bit by bit. There was this group I used to comment, I used to visit back then, Babes Redefined, and I remember that
Mhm.
that's where I built my part of my writing skills by commenting on posts and trying to share my opinions. Some of those things now, so it was kind of awkward then, but along the line, I started growing, and my voice
Mhm.
became stronger. So I don't believe that there is
Stronger.
anyone. Yes, I don't believe that there's anyone that cannot bring out their voice. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of
Time.
time. Yes, and the
Yeah,
more you relate to people, the more the courage builds up in you.
you have.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, in essence, you're saying that support begets support. So, if people want to
Exactly.
be supported, then they need to be supporting other people as well. And
Exactly.
it's interesting that you said that when people react on your post, like some people have never commented, when they react on your
Mm,
post, and when you see their post as well, you react to their post too.
exactly.
So, it's reciprocal. And one other thing that I tell people about social media is it's you're building relationship with people, so you are relating one to another. It's never a one-way thing. You can't expect people to just come to you without you going to them, and
Going to
it
them.
starts with a step. If you know that God has laid something in your heart that you need to do, you need to start with something. You need to start somewhere, and one step at a time. Over time,
Fine.
your self-confidence will grow. Now,
Good.
I want to talk a little bit about your book. I know that in March of 2020, this year, you released Identity. You published Identity, the book Identity, and a lot of people have given reviews about that book. Can you please tell us a little bit more about what a potential buyer would expect when they read Identity?
Okay. Anyone that buys identity is going to be taken through a journey of
Okay.
self-discovery into
Mhm.
purpose and into leadership. That was how I evolved when I was still having this mind blockage and mental helplessness. There are some things that we go through as humans that we cannot put a voice to. These things are just in our minds, they're just in our heads, and we feel like
Mm,
it is peculiar to us. No, you're not the only one going through that situation. There are a lot of people out there that are going through the same situation, but because they've not put a voice to that situation, that is why you feel that that particular situation is peculiar to you. And this is what I've tried that I wrote in Identity, starting from my journey of having this mental helplessness and mind blockage, not understanding who I was. I was in this kind of haze, and now I had to move from that haze to self discovery. I had to move into self worth. I had to move into self esteem. I had to move into mentorship. Yes, I don't know if
mm.
you're going to ask me a question on mentorship, but that's a particular place that I really want to touch because it
Touch.
involves you.
Okay, the
I'm
next
allowed
question.
to the
The
next
next
question.
question will be about mentorship. But I just
Yes.
wanted to say something real quick. If you are just
Okay.
joining us, this is the Power Woman series. And today I have Oluwatosin Arojudu. She's a lawyer and she's also the founder of Ada Creations, a branding and publishing company based in Ireland, United Kingdom. Now, if you have not shared this video, please do share with others so that people can benefit. One of the reasons we're having this is we're telling our stories our own way so that we can encourage and motivate one another. It's easier when we are all great. Nobody should feel like one person is greater than them. We are all equal in the sight of God. And when we share our stories with one another, we encourage, we motivate, and we push each other to success. So please do share this video. Now, the next question is actually about mentorship. I
Okay.
maybe the question is in two parts. What role did mentorship play in your own personal journey? And then
Okay.
how did mentorship help you to, think of mentoring other women as well? Because I know that you mentor women, you do an amazing job, and I'm so proud of the work that you do. And I
Yes.
think that
Thank you.
you are an amazing person and you're going places. So I just wanted you to let the audience know the role that mentorship played in your life and how you're paying it forward by mentoring other women as well.
Okay. I remember that sometimes in 2017, I had this awakening. Sometimes in 2017, was it around November? There was this kind of awakening in me. I wanted more from life. I was restless. I'd become an author at this time. I'd written two books, Motherhood and the Society, and there was this other one, but I can't really say it's a book because it's not completely ready, but the title was Life on the Street of Read Looks. I was trying to depict what happens on social media and how bullying, cyberbullying comes into social media. I had written those books without an input from a mentor. It was as if I was just doing these things alone. I had
Hmm.
these revelations and I was just working in isolation. So
Hmm.
this this December, a lot of events was happening around me at the same time, and I was being reminded of how stagnant I was. So there was this
Hmm.
kind of desire in me to be more. And I was
Okay.
praying at the same time, but I didn't know what was going to happen. But I knew that there was this awakening, there was this yearning for more. So this
Hmm.
particular day, it was December, if I can remember, maybe December 18, I'm not sure. I was on social media on Facebook, and this woman, Sheon Obajolu, had shared
Hmm.
a post, and then it was a live
Okay.
video, and I saw on point success. It was as if that
Okay.
name jumped at me. It was as if it jumped at me. It was as if it connected with my brain, and I was like, oh, wait. What's on point success? Where have I been?
Okay.
So I went to the page. I saw that she had thousands of followers, and I said, okay, so how come I've not met this person? Who is this? So I went to the live chat. I listened to her. She was talking about building a website. Some of the things she was saying, they were actually things I'd done. But the way she was saying it, the way she was putting out this information without holding anything back, something clicked. And I knew that okay, it's like I found who I've been looking for unknowingly.
Hmm.
That was the kind of information I received in my sixth sense. So I paid attention. The following week, she said she was going to come online. I went to a live chat, I listened, and the year ended and I had to leave social media. It's my usual tradition
Yes.
on social media every January in order to re-strategize and to just
Uh-huh.
clear my head and all that. But I went to your okay, let me now go to you. Don't let me use the third pronoun again. Let me go to you. That I'm talking about you actually. So I went to your website
Okay.
your website and I started seeing the way you are putting out this information that nobody had ever put out there. I've never come across anyone putting out resources that could better other people's lives like that. And I remember that I saw one of your blog posts where you wrote about Canva and some other resources that people can use
Yes.
to create graphics. And that was the first place I
Yes.
saw Canva. So I went to Canva and I tried my hands on some graphics and I realized that I could actually create a design. And these are things that looked impossible, like things that looked like an abstract, like unachievable for someone like me. I saw myself creating designs, so I kept following you and we started talking. And that was how we started talking and we started connecting and I started sharing things with you and you started giving me clues on what I could do in order to build a profitable brand. And I started receiving this information from you on how to come out from financial helplessness because of the
Hmm.
generosity of your heart. And this is why I don't take mentorship as a joke. Anyone that is looking for a mentor, please pray about it that God should connect you to that right mentor. Because we also have tormentors, people that are going to torment your life. So pray
Hmm.
about the right mentor that God has, as in, marked for you. Because I believe so much in divine connection. For everything
Yeah.
I've been today, it has always been about divine connection. So my coming in contact with you was about divine connection. And that is why we are still here today. And I
Oh
remember
wow.
that when I read one of yeah, let me quickly say this. When I went to your website and I saw something about the Power Woman series, the place I was at the time I saw that event on your website, what went through my mind was that in 2023, I was going to be live in Philadelphia sitting at the
Amen.
Power Woman event. That was my thoughts, like 2023. So thanks,
Wow.
yes, thanks to coronavirus. I'm here today
Yes. You're
live
gonna be a
on the
part of
Power
it
Woman
live.
series. I'm still going to come to Philadelphia to sit at the Power Woman event
Amen.
live by God's grace.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is so beautiful. And
Mm,
I really need to thank you because the way you honor me, it just blows my mind away. Like I keep asking myself, what exactly did I do, to deserve it?
you
But
did a lot.
I'm really thankful to you, and
Thank
I
you.
can't take any glory. I give God the glory, and
Mhm.
I've always been that type of a person that I just want to share from the depth of my heart. And God has been so great in leading me through this journey, and I believe so much. I believe so much that I believe that everyone has greatness in them. So it's not just
Yes.
something that I say, I actually believe it, and I try as much as possible to, help people that I come in contact with.
Mm,
So I'm really
yes.
grateful for that. Now, because our time is fast spent, I've made up
Thanks.
my mind that this show or this series will not be more than 1 hour, and we have less than 5 minutes to go. I would have to
Oh my
skip some
God.
of the questions that I
Questions.
had
Okay.
prepared to ask. But
Okay.
one thing I do really appreciate about you is how you honor other people. We might be
Mm,
on social media, but we see from the way you comment, the way you respond to other people, you really do honor other people. And
thank
what I
you.
see
Thank
in
you.
you is I see a woman that is leading nations. So now
Thank
that
you.
brings me to the question. It's a popular question that I love to ask. If you were asked to lead Nigeria, let's say, for example, the president we had before this president, to me, the presidency was dropped in his lap. So, what
Mm,
if tomorrow the presidency of a country like Nigeria is dropped in your lap? The first question is, would you take it? And if yes, what are the top three aspects that you would work on, like would be your central focus?
focus. Okay. The top three aspects that would be my central focus. Of course, I'll take it if leadership of
Okay.
Nigeria was put in my laps. And the first three things that are passionate to my heart is alleviation of poverty. It's hurts
Hmm.
when people when you see poverty, like it breaks my heart when people cannot afford a meal in Nigeria, they cannot afford quality health care, bad roads, people are losing their lives as a result of bad roads. People cannot afford clean water. So alleviation of poverty, and if there are not enough jobs, at least opportunities for people to learn a skill so that they can fend for themselves. So the first thing on my top agenda would be alleviation of poverty, and the second thing would be making sure that crime and corruption is brought down to the barest minimum. And this is going to start
Amen.
from, yes, it's going to start from leadership down to the last to the ordinary citizen. And this means that there's not going to zero tolerance for corruption, for embezzlement of funds, zero tolerance for
Mhm.
all this nonsense that they are doing in the House of Representatives, that people are fainting when they are supposed to sit down and answer questions. Zero tolerance for all that. There are going to be
Yes.
punitive measures that are going to make sure that things are in space. You would not overtake on the road. These are the things that are very passionate to my heart. People just drive anyhow in Nigeria. People's mental health are all over the place because there are no law and order. Nobody is abiding by the law and order that are placed on ground. So corruption and crime will be brought down to the barest minimum so that people's mental health can function appropriately, and this in turn will birth productivity. Because if there are crime and corruption all over the place, productivity is going to be affected. Someone that is supposed to
Yes.
concentrate on what they want to do for the day, they're busy thinking about how thieves, maybe being attacked by thieves. You don't have
Mhm.
peace. There is no peace. There is no focus. You're busy thinking about too many things at the same time. So crime and
Yes.
corruption, find a way to bring it down to the barest minimum. Then zero tolerance for women and children abuse. This is very passionate to my heart, and I
Okay.
thank God that this is already in place in Nigeria, and there are women that are in forefront of this particular thing about bringing domestic violence to a halt, like it's not going to exist. And I want to thank my state governor's wife, Erelu Bisi Fayemi. I'm from a state. She's doing a
Oh,
beautiful,
HGS.
she's
She's
doing
an
a
alumni
beautiful,
of my high
yes.
school.
Oh, awesome. She's doing a beautiful job down in the state against domestic
Yes.
violence and rape. And I'm really, really grateful to her for doing that. So these three aspects are what I'm going to focus on if I'm given the opportunity to become the president or to lead in any form in
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Poverty alleviation. That's a really good area to focus on. Corruption, yes, absolutely. Gender violence, women abuse, and children.
And,
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. I wish we had more time. We could
Fine.
keep going on and on and on and on and on. Thank you so much for honoring my invitation. I really do
Thank you
appreciate
for
you.
having me.
In
Thank
closing,
you.
I just have one more question, and I want you to answer it in 10 seconds. So, if anybody that is watching you right now is thinking about what they need to do to succeed in work and also in life, what would you say? What one thing do they need to do in just 10 seconds?
Succeeding, yes. To be focused, you need to be focused to succeed at work. The Bible says that see a man diligent in his work, he will stand before kings and not mean men. So you need to be
Hmm,
diligent at work. And for your life, in order to be successful in life, ditch self-comparison and don't ever allow anyone to define what success is for you. Define your own success and stand by
define your
what
own success.
success and stand by what it means for you. Distraction are going to come and people are going to try to tilt you towards what they feel that success should be for you. But you need to be able to
Hmm,
stand and define what success means for you. So that's it.
wow. You
Yeah.
need to be able to stand up and define what success means to you. Wow.
Right.
Thank you so, so much. I
Thank
absolutely
you.
enjoyed having you today.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
everyone, for tuning in. You are amazing. Thank you, everyone. This is the Power Woman series, and today we had Oluwatosin Arojuju. She's a lawyer and she's also the founder of Ada Creations. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, be exceptional, be intentional, and be on point. See you. Bye.
Bye.